Behind this house was a wood-fired oven. Inside this house was a cottage bakery. In front of this house is Gusto bread. I think a lot of bakers throughout the world actually live like on site. It's a kind of like a tradition of sort. Maybe there's no other way around it because like living yeast just needs attention. It needs hands-on tending to the fire, so to speak. Yeah. So 9 years ago, we moved in onto this property that had this wood-fired oven on site. I felt really drawn to that oven, and I really wanted to learn to use it.
Yeah, I would say Arturo definitely fell in love with baking to the point where ultimately he just wanted to dedicate himself to it.
I had this vision to build a bakery, but I really didn't know anything about bakeries. I never worked in one. And I didn't necessarily want to work at one. I just kind of wanted to build one right away. But I wanted to meet bakers and hear from them and see their bakeries, experience their bakeries. So we did that as much as we could. Coming back from traveling, I knew that I was ready to start Gusto Bread out of this new house that we moved into. I got my cottage license. We converted the whole living room space into the bakery.
Having a bakery at our home was quite challenging at times. Definitely, it's wonderful to wake up to the smell of bread, but it did take over our entire living room.
We grew out of it and we were ready to move on, but the opportunity ended up coming right when we needed it, so it worked out. Having baked all these European-style breads, I still felt like, okay, well, that doesn't translate to like my other identity, my true identity, right? Of like flavors I grew up with, familiar to me and more like home. And that was more geared towards like Mexican breads. I definitely have that sort of Chicano struggle, which means you're not from here nor there. You can speak Spanish and you know the food and everything, but you're never really Mexican because you didn't grow up there, right? And then here in the United States, you're not American because, I don't know, you're brown or you speak Spanish, you have an accent, and and so in a way our bakery is like a sort of Chicano identity. It's not here or there either. I think it's a new experience for everyone, including myself. I'm like, I've never been to a bakery like this. This is cool, I started experimenting with sourdough concha recipe, adding masa, so I learned to nixtamalize corn at that same time as well. And I started incorporating that folding house-made masa into a sourdough, and we create layers of that dough and butter, so it's this laminated pastry. And that's a real great representation of our bakery. I think home is somewhere where you're able to be yourself. That's home. Often to introduce breads that I was baking to my family, it was foreign to them too, just in the same way that it was to me. And so when I started baking the sourdough conchas, other pan dulces like pan de muerto, seasonal bread, I could just see the joy in their faces and something feel more familiar and thing that felt like home, but new at the same time.